Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Urdu Seekhe. This is the third part of our six-part series dedicated to the nazm Ek Makra or Makhi, which means a spider and a fly. If you're joining us for the first time, please go back to part 1 of this nazm. The link to part 1 is available in the description, or you can directly go to www.urduseekhe.com/E25. That's episode 25. So before we jump in, I want to quickly summarize what happened in the last 4 lines. If you recall, the spider was trying to get the fly to come into his home, but the fly wasn't having it. So the spider continues with his mind games. He says things like, "I was only looking out for you. You think I have anything to gain from this?" Basically, he's trying to gain her trust. Let's see how far he gets. So again, today I'm joined by Amer, who's going to help me translate this poem for you guys. Thank you very much for joining.
Assalamu alaikum. कैसे हैं आप लोग? How is everyone? And I'm really glad to be doing this with Shireen again. So the first four lines for this episode are उड़ती हुई आई हो खुदा जाने कहाँ से ठहरो जो मेरे घर में तो है इसमें बुरा क्या इस घर में कई तुमको दिखाने की हैं चीजें बाहर से नजर आता है छोटी सी एक कुटिया.
So I'm going to go ahead and take the first line because it's relatively easy. So the first line is उड़ती हुई आई हो खुदा जाने कहाँ से. उड़ती हुई आई हो खुदा जाने कहाँ से. So the word ordana means to fly. And because it ends in that E sound, urti, you know that we're talking about something feminine. The fly, makhi, is feminine. So makhi urti hai, lekin हवाई जहाज उड़ता है. आपको पता है कि हवाई जहाज क्या है? Do you know what हवाई जहाज is? हवाई जहाज means airplane. Hawai jahaz is masculine, so we use orta. So again, I'll repeat. Makhi urti hai, lekin hawai jahaz urta hai. So in this case, the fly urti hui ai. If you remember, ai, which is a conjugation of the verb ana, means to come. So urti hui ai ho means you have come flying. I don't want to spend too much time talking about hui here, but I encourage you to download the free handout for this episode so you can see more example sentences with hui.
Right. And the remainder of that line is खुदा जाने कहाँ से.
So hopefully you know what khoda means because we always sign off with khoda hafiz. Khoda means God, and khoda hafiz literally means may God protect you. And it's said whenever we want to say goodbye.
Yeah, exactly. So खुदा जाने means God knows. खुदा जाने कहाँ से means from God knows where. So the full line उड़ती हुई आई हो खुदा जाने कहाँ से would mean you've come flying from God knows where. In the next line he completes the thought. ठहरो जो मेरे घर में तो है इसमें बुरा क्या. ठहरो जो मेरे घर में तो है इसमें बुरा क्या. First word ठहरो comes from the verb ठहरना, which means to stay or to stop. Again, मेरे घर में means in my home. So he's saying ठहरो जो मेरे घर में, which would mean if you stay in my home.
So the full line is ठहरो जो मेरे घर में तो है इसमें बुरा क्या. I would say this is a set phrase, and it means, so what's the harm in that? If we rearrange the words in this phrase, it becomes a phrase that you can use on a daily basis. तो इसमें बुरा क्या है? तो इसमें बुरा क्या है? So what's the harm in that?
Right, great. The next line is इस घर में कई तुमको दिखाने की हैं चीजें. इस घर में कई तुमको दिखाने की हैं चीजें. Before I do any explaining, let's first rearrange the words to make it sound conversational. The way you might hear this said in everyday Urdu is इस घर में कई चीजें हैं तुमको दिखाने की. या फिर इस घर में तुमको दिखाने की कई चीजें हैं. Something of that sort. Because since that is poetry, that is why that phrase is more poetic and less prose-like or conversational. This phrase means, in this home, there are many things that I want to show you, or there are many things that are worth showing. Basically, he means to say, I have so much to show you in my home. Kai means many. Cheezein means things. Dikhana means to show. Here, the key is functioning in a different way. So, when you have a verb and key follows it, then it functions as to or for. For example, इस घर में कई चीजें हैं खाने की. That means, in this home, there are many things for eating, or there are many things to eat. Another example is, इस घर में कई चीजें हैं पढ़ने की. इस घर में कई चीजें हैं पढ़ने की. In this home, there are many things for reading, or in this home, there are many things to read. How do you say, in this home, there are many things to drink, or in this home, there are many things to wear? Go to the website for this episode and post your responses there.
Right, and be sure to download the handout for this episode so you know how to say to drink and to wear. So we see that the spider is continuing to entice the fly to come over. He's talking about the many things inside his home. And in the next line, he says, बाहर से नजर आता है छोटी सी ये कुटिया. बाहर से नजर आता है छोटी सी ये कुटिया. Bahar means outside, and bahar se means from the outside. Nazar ana means to appear or to be visible. Choti si means small or tiny, and ye kutia means this hut. The spider refers to his home as kutia. So, bahar se nazar aata hai choti si ye kutia means from the outside, this hut appears tiny. And you can already guess where the spider
Uh-huh.
is headed with such talk.
You should just a
Sure.
second. Excuse me. You should say this means from the outside, this home appears like a tiny hut. क्योंकि अब देखिए ना, ये जो आखिरी लाइन है बाहर से नजर आता है, पिछली वाली लाइन के साथ कंटिन्यू करता है. तो पहले वो कहता है, इस घर में कई तुमको दिखाने की हैं चीजें, which basically means कि this house is pretty expansive, it's pretty big. कई चीजें हैं जो दिखाने की हैं, बड़ा है तो इसलिए दिखा सकते हैं ना. लेकिन ओनली बाहर से नजर आता है ये छोटी सी कुटिया. तो ये चीजें जो हैं, ये जो उसकी टोन है ना, वो इस तरह की है कि बाहर से नजर आता है छोटी सी एक कुटिया, लेकिन अंदर से बहुत बड़ा है.
Mm, okay. Okay. So bahar se nazar aata hai choti si ye kutiya means from the outside, this home appears like a small hut. And you can already guess where the spider is headed with such talk. Before moving on to the next line, Amer, I feel like if I were to say this in everyday Urdu, I would say, Bahar se choti nazar aati hai ye kutiya. I want to say that the ending for the word choti and ati will always be the same gender. So, for example, if I want to say dur se hawai jahaz chota nazar aata hai, that means from far away, a plane appears small. Notice how chota and ata end in the a sound because hawai jahaz is masculine. For a feminine noun, I might say makhi choti nazar aati hai. So choti and ati, same feminine ending. Why then do we have bahar se nazar aata hai choti si ye kotiya? Did Alama Iqbal Sahab just use some poetic liberties?
Hmm. No, I wouldn't say that. Even Allama Iqbal wouldn't, he wouldn't change the rules of grammar. So he would have to abide by them. Uh, Actually, as we see in the previous line, it says, "इस घर में कई तुमको दिखाने की हैं चीजें," and then it continues with, "बाहर से नजर आता है छोटी सी ये कुटिया." So if I were to translate that into English, it would be that I have a lot of things at my place and it's quite big. It's only from the outside that it appears small. So you see, it appears small. You're still talking about the house, still talking about the home. So the kutia here is like an adjective.
Mm.
So that is why it's nazar aata hai, मतलब ये घर बाहर से एक छोटी सी कुटिया नजर आता है. That is how I would open it up.
Ah, okay, okay. So the ghar is what is chota or appears to be chota, like the like a kutia, like
Exactly.
a small hut. I understand. Okay, okay. Got it.
Okay, so we move on to the next four lines of this nazm, and they are: लटके हुए दरवाजों पे बारीक हैं पर्दे, लटके हुए दरवाजों पे बारीक हैं पर्दे, दीवारों को आईनों से है मैंने सजाया, दीवारों को आईनों से है मैंने सजाया, मेहमानों के आराम को हाजिर हैं बिछौने, मेहमानों के आराम को हाजिर हैं बिछौने, हर शख्स को सामा ये मैसर नहीं होता, हर शख्स को सामा ये मैसर नहीं होता. The first line here is लटके हुए दरवाजों पे बारीक हैं पर्दे, लटके हुए दरवाजों पे बारीक हैं पर्दे. Let's again reorder these words to say it how it would be in a daily conversation. So right now it's लटके हुए दरवाजों पे बारीक हैं पर्दे. We would say this as दरवाजों पे लटके हुए पर्दे बारीक हैं. And दरवाजों पे लटके हुए पर्दे बारीक हैं means the curtains hanging on the doors are thin. Darvazon means doors. Darvazon pe means on the doors. Latakna means to hang. Parde are curtains. Latke hue means hanging. You'll find more examples of hue in the free handout. Hain is our to be verb and it means are. Parde latke hue hain means the curtains are hanging. Barik means thin.
Okay, so let's move to the next line, which further talks about how his home is set up. दीवारों को आईनों से है मैंने सजाया. First things first, let's rearrange the words. If you wanted to say that you've decorated the walls with mirrors, you would say, actually, it's a very minor change. Just move the to be verb, है, to the end. So it'll become दीवारों को आईनों से मैंने सजाया है. दीवारों को आईनों से मैंने सजाया है.
Yeah, totally. Or you could even say, मैंने आईनों से दीवारों को सजाया है.
True. True. So let's take a look at these words to see why they can be written in multiple ways. So, aina means mirror, and the plural mirrors is aino. Aino se means with mirrors. And what has the spider done with mirrors? Divaron ko sajaya hai. A divar is a wall. The plural, walls, is divaron. Sajana means to decorate. So sajana becomes sajaya, mene sajaya. I have decorated it. And we know me means I. Ne, we could say, means by. So mene means by me. The walls have been decorated by me with mirrors. Divaron ko aino se mene sajaya hai. But the original line in the poem, which means the exact same thing, is दीवारों को आईनों से है मैंने सजाया.
The next line is मेहमानों के आराम को हाजिर हैं बिछौने. मेहमानों के आराम को हाजिर हैं बिछौने. If you remember, a mehman is a guest. The plural guests would be mehmano. Ke here means of. So mehmano ke means of guests. Aram means comfort. Ko here means for. So mehmano ke aram ko means for the comfort of the guests. The full sentence is मेहमानों के आराम को हाजिर हैं बिछौने. मेहमानों के आराम को हाजिर हैं बिछौने. Hazir means available or present. And what is available? Bichone. Bichone is kind of like an archaic word for bedding and things that are spread out so that you can take rest in it. Bichone is a word that means jo bichhaya jaye. You see, bichhane
Mm.
wali cheez, bichone. The thing that you spread out is called bichone.
So it could be like a bed sheet, it could be a blanket, it could be just any, yeah, it, not something lighter than a blanket, something that, just like you said, something that you can spread out for bedding.
Yeah, exactly. Anything to lie on, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
मेहमानों के आराम को हाजिर हैं बिछौने. Basically, he's trying to say he's got everything one could need to be very comfortable. The words in this line can be rearranged to make it sound normal. We'll have to bring in some new words and remove some original ones. To say this in everyday Urdu, we'd say मेहमानों के आराम के लिए बिस्तर हाजिर हैं. I think कंबल कंबल तो नहीं कहेंगे. I think बिछौना. uh,
Or you could say bichone, right? I guess you could leave bichone because it is bichone isn't a very. I mean, do you guys use it in your home?
not really.
No. Okay, fine. So then, what do you use instead of?
बिछौने क्या, अब तो बिस्तर ही होते हैं प्रॉपरली. बिछौने असल में पहले पुराने, मैंने इसलिए आर्केक कहा था क्योंकि अब ये उस तरह का
Mhm.
सिस्टम है जिसमें ये अभी भी होता है, हमारे ननियाल में हुआ करता था, वेयर यू डिडंट रियली हैव अ प्रॉपर बेडरूम. सो व्हाट यू यूज्ड टू हैव वाज you have this living room in which there are you अलग से you have a lot of mattresses, and at night time you bring in those bichone or mattresses, and then you spread them out, you sleep, and in the morning those mattresses go back into whatever storeroom you have.
But they're not. Are they actually mattresses, or are they like a bunch of blankets and things that you make like a mattress out of?
uh nahi nahi, bichone, they are mattresses, they're like thin mattresses,
Really?
yeah.
Gotcha.
ऐसे
Okay.
पहले हुआ करता था.
Cause yeah, when you say bistar, I think bed, like
हाँ,
a
फिर वो
bed.
it's like a fixed thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. तो गद्दे बोल सकते हैं, like.
Yeah, gadde, I think mattress. Gadda is mattress, isn't it?
हाँ, वो हो जाएगा, सही है. तो कहाँ
ठीक है.
कहाँ
Okay.
थे? हाँ, तो इन एवरीडे उर्दू विद से मेहमानों के आराम के लिए गद्दे हाजिर हैं, और इवन बिछौने हाजिर हैं, बिकॉज गद्दे would sound a little informal.
Okay.
So we could go with bichone, that's all right, yeah. So in English it would be, for the comfort of the guests, beds are available. You won't say mattresses are available, right? That sounds like a hotel room.
Yeah, bedding is
Bedding,
available.
bedding is
Yeah.
available, all right, yeah. Notice how in the change sentence we say मेहमानों के आराम के लिए, which basically is a replacement for को. So again, को and के लिए mean the same thing, for, but usually we use के लिए rather than को.
And now for our final line, हर शख्स को सामान ये मयसर नहीं होता. हर शख्स को सामान ये मयसर नहीं होता. Har means each or every. Shaks means person. Another way to say shaks is insan, which also means person. So har shaks means every person. Saman could mean things or tools. Ye means this. Let's look at nahi hota. Nahi hota literally means does not happen. But we have the word mayassar in front of nahi hota. And in this case, nahi hota translates to is not or are not. So let's take a look at the full sentence and maybe the context in the previous sentences to see if we can figure out what the word mayassar means. That's exactly the strategy I used to get an idea of what mayassar means before I looked it up.
So the complete line is हर शख्स को सामान ये मयस्सर नहीं होता. हर शख्स को सामान ये मयस्सर नहीं होता. It means to every person these things are not mayassar. So we see that the spider is trying to convince the fly to come to his home. He's saying how everything is so nicely decorated inside, how the bedding is so luxurious and comfortable, and finally how these types of things are not mayassar to everyone. If you had to guess what mayassar meant, what would you say it means? So mayassar means available. He's saying that not everybody is fortunate enough to have such awesome things at their disposal. Again, it's a tactic to persuade the fly. He's basically saying, if you come to my place, you'll get to see and enjoy things that not many people get to see and enjoy.
It's funny. The longer I work with this poem, the more examples I can think of in my life where I've been pulled towards bright and shiny things only to be disappointed later on. So even though this is a nazm for children, it's a lesson appropriate for all ages, really. Okay, so before saying goodbye, let's see how I'd say this last line if I were having a day-to-day conversation. To express the idea that such things aren't available to everyone, I'd say, हर शख्स के पास इस किस्म की चीज़ें नहीं होती. हर शख्स के पास इस किस्म की चीज़ें नहीं होती. Qism means type. So I'm trying to say not everyone has these types of things. So sama or saman could also mean stuff or things. So if instead of cheese I wanted to say saman, I would say हर शख्स के पास इस किस्म का सामान नहीं होता, because saman is masculine. Well, that does it for this episode. We hope you've enjoyed the poem so far. Hopefully you're on the edge of your seats trying to guess what will happen next. We'll see you again next week. Thank you very much for listening. Please remember to go to www.urdusikhiye.com/e25 to download the free handout for this episode. Remember, if you're enjoying the podcast, please consider leaving us a review on iTunes or Facebook. Also, we love hearing from you, so feel free to drop us a note either through social media or email. Until next time, apna khayal rakhna. Khuda Hafiz.